Bright's finest juice.
It must be difficult doing an interview after a gig like that.
It's not bad.
Yeah?
It could be worse. There could be worse things.
And what's it like playing at 3:30 in the afternoon?
I would say weird, but we've done it so many times now with South by and festivals that
you're used to it.
It's nice that it's in a venue, because it is kind of weird if you play at 3 in the afternoon outside and it's like total daylight and kids roaming around, which is always nice, but so it was totally fine.
So have you been on a pier before?
Yes, I've actually been here before.
Okay.
In Brighton.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite stop in the UK, because we always stay. It's funny. We're staying at the same place this time as we were last time. It's called the Gather Inn.
Right.
But it's right along the path off the sea, where there's the storage units to the left and the water to the right.
Yeah.
And it's just really nice staying there, because you get to wake up and go get coffee and walk along that.
Yeah.
It's like a breath of fresh air.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And this was a last minute booking, was it, or last minute?
I think so.
Kind of a special.
It was like
excellent.
Last week. I think we announced it 3 days ago or something.
Are you in the middle of a UK tour at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So that was an amazing show. That was brilliant. I've not seen you before.
Okay.
Just for those who don't know, you've released a couple of albums.
Yep.
And last year you released Losing.
Yes.
And that was your second album on the Sub Pop label.
Our first album was on a subsidiary of Columbia called Star Time, and then this was our first record with Sub Pop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Your background is engineering, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You trained as an engineer.
Yeah.
Sound engineer.
My bachelor's of science in audio engineering.
Yeah. And did you work with Steve Albini?
I interned at the studio, yeah. So I was like in the sessions after I finished my intern duties with whoever was in session at the time. So it was split equally between the engineers that are working at the time.
So you know everything there is to know about making a record?
No. But like, it's a learning process, and I know a fair amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's probably a lifetime's work, isn't it?
Yeah.
And did you use tape for this album? Mm-hmm. Have you always used tape?
Yeah, I used it for the first one. I used it for this one as well. I've done EPs and stuff digitally, and when we track demos, we'll do them digitally. But when we have the budget to be in a studio with tape, we choose that. Only because I have engineered the past two, and that's what I'm more comfortable with. I don't have anything against Pro Tools, but if I'm going to do it, it's nice to kind of narrow down my options and tracks and be forced to commit.
And what is it about tape that you really like?
I like it that you have to choose just 24 tracks, and you can't just like quickly do a take. You have to rewind and get some breathing time, and you have to stay on your feet. But really, it's the tracks, and I like it that it's just this kind of diary of a certain time period that you do for a month and a half, and then it's over with, and you just have to live with it.
Tell me a bit about the music for those who don't know what you do. How would you if somebody stopped you if you stopped somebody in the street, or you met somebody and I'm in a band, you know, and they said, what sort of music do you play? How would you describe it?
Well, I never tell people I'm in a band.
Okay.
It's like our number one rule. If we go out to eat and someone's like, what are you guys all doing? We're like, we're just here on vacation. But I'll say, if I get into that conversation, I just say we play alternative indie rock. Yeah. Which is extremely vague, but I think most genres are these days.
Of course, I don't want to get into trouble by pinning a genre or genres on you. But obviously you can hear a bit of, quite punky at times, sort of Pixies-esque in places. Steve Albini, of course, influences there. What sort of bands were you listening to when you were growing up? What's kind of big inspirations for you?
I grew up in a town, like a suburb outside of Minneapolis in Minnesota, and I was just listening to the alternative radio station, so it was like Alanis Morissette and Sarah McLachlan, Ace of Base, which I've heard some bad things about now, so I don't want to talk about them. But, so...
Minneapolis, is that where Husker Du came from?
Yeah. And the Replacements.
Yeah.
But I think when I got to college, I actually started listening to good indie rock, like the Breeders and the Pixies, Sonic Youth, and Talking Heads, all that stuff.
And can you talk us about the final song you played? What was that?
That was a McCluskey cover.
McCluskey cover.
McCluskey is a band from Wales.
From here, from Britain. Yeah. Excellent.
Oddly enough, when we played Wales, the least amount of people knew it.
Yeah, well, I didn't know it.
Yeah. But every other place we played in the UK, people are like, a few people at least are like, love the McCluskey cover.
Brighton's finest juice.